I asked one simple question on my last video. What's the nicest thing another player has ever done for you in Gray Zone Warfare? I figured I'd get a few interesting replies, maybe a handful of funny stories. Instead, hundreds of you started sharing moments that honestly made me stop and think. Because while I thought I was making a video about Gray Zone Warfare, looking back, I think I accidentally started a conversation about something much bigger. When creators ask questions on YouTube, you usually expect short answers, a few opinions, and maybe even a debate. But that's not really what happened. Instead, people started telling stories, real moments they'd remember for months. And what surprised me wasn't just how many comments there were, it was how similar they all felt. Different servers, different players, and different situations. Yet somehow, everyone seemed to remember the same kind of moment, not because of the loot they found, not because of an incredible gunfight, because another player chose to help them in their time of need. And honestly, I don't think I expected that to become the most overwhelming theme. This comment really stood out to me. I remember someone dropped me the biggest bag on my second day. It was a good feeling, so I just want the other newbies to feel the same way, so they will probably do it too. And this is how the community grows. I love the game, the community, and the devs too. Great video, my guy. Edit. I wrote this before you said it in your video too. Awesome. Imagine that. Someone you've never met taking the time out of their raid just to make your experience a little easier. Then there was this one. I once helped a dude at Sawmill who was in a coma 3 times, helped him open doors and got him to pick up loot and carried the rest for him and dropped it off at the cop. Sadly, he was from a different faction, but the most memorable one was when I met 2 guys from a different faction. We sat and chatted till sundown in the middle of the forest and went on our separate ways. After sharing every secret we knew about the game, too many stories, man, if I'm being honest. Again, there's no reward, there's no extra XP, there's no achievement, just other people deciding to take the time out of their day or their mission and go and help this person that is in the time of need, like this guy that was in a coma 3 times, or just taking the time to relax and you're coming across a random player in the forest and you're just having a normal conversation, talking about, hey, I know exactly where the magazine is for the MCX. And then I came across this other story as well, which I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you guys are starting to get the gist. By this point, I started realizing there weren't isolated moments in the game. This wasn't one really nice player going around and helping everybody. This was happening over and over again, different people, telling almost the exact same kind of story. So, after reading through all these comments, something finally clicked. Almost nobody was talking about it. Winning. Nobody cared about how much money they made. Nobody remembered some insane weapon build. Nobody even mentioned how many AI they ended up killing or how many players they took down in the process. The memories people held on to were moments with other players, helping, being helped, meeting someone randomly, flying together, finding a squad. Those were the stories that stuck. And I honestly think that's really interesting, because none of those moments were designed by the developers. Players created them. And overall, the more I thought about it, the more I realized this probably isn't even about Gray Zone Warfare anymore. It's about the people. When someone helps you, especially when they don't have to, you remember it. Not because it changes the game, but because it changes your experience. We've all played online games where everyone is looking out for themselves only, most of the time. So when someone spends their own time helping a complete stranger, it stands out. And maybe that's why so many of your comments sounded so similar. Not because everyone had the exact same experience, but because everyone remembered the same feeling, or being that little guy that's starting out in the new game and having that same moment and paying it forward. One thing I hope never changes about Gray Zone Warfare is how this community treats new players. Because let's be honest, every single one of us started in the exact same place. We were the player asking where a task was, wondering which key we needed, getting completely lost in Band Power Tiger Bay, and even trying to figure out why we just got one-tapped by an AI we never even saw. We've all been there, and I think that's why so many experienced players are willing to stop what they're doing to help somebody else. They remember what those first few hours felt like, The confusion, the excitement, the feeling of finally completing that difficult task, or finally finding that one key you've been searching for to complete that task. If someone took the time to help you when you were new, there's a pretty good chance you'll end up doing the same for someone else one day, and honestly, that's how communities like this survive. Not because the developers tell us to, but because players quietly pass that kindness on to the next person by paying it forward. As Grayzone Warfare continues to grow, especially with bigger updates like 0.5 on the horizon, there are going to be a lot of brand new players stepping into Lamang for the very first time. Those first few hours are going to shape how they see the game. If their first experience is someone dropping them a key, answering a question over voice chat, helping them finish a task, or simply pointing them in just the right direction, there's a good chance they'll remember that over the loot they found 20 minutes earlier in the long run. And maybe, a few hundred hours later, they'll be the ones helping somebody else. Because remember, at the end of the day, games grow because people buy them. Communities grow because people remember how they were treated. And I really hope that's something Grayzone Warfare never loses. When I uploaded my last video, I genuinely thought I was talking about one of Grayzone Warfare's strongest features, the community. After reading all of your comments, I actually think I was a little bit wrong. The community isn't just one of the game's best features. It's the reason so many of us continue creating stories inside the game long after we finished our tasks, unlocked all of our vendors, built the perfect rifle, our go-to weapon, and eventually all of that became the norm. But the player who helped you, the random squad you ended up with, the strangers who dropped the key you've been searching for all week and finally got it from somebody who was willing to help. Those are the moments people remember, not because the game rewarded them, because another player chose to do that. So today's video, I don't actually want to ask another question. I just want to say thank you, because after reading through all of your stories, you reminded me why I enjoy making videos about this game in the first place. Not because of the patches, the roadmap, not even because of the gameplay. Because behind every single update, every task, every helicopter ride, there's another player creating a story that someone else is going to remember. And after reading your comments, I honestly think those stories deserve to be told just as much as anything the developers add to the game. So let's continue to help new players, even when we do have a wipe in the near future, and we don't have everything unlocked, and we don't have millions of dollars. Let's still help everybody out, because yeah, we're all in our own factions, but sometimes you come across a guy who's still new to the game and he's in an opposing faction. It's just fun to have those moments with people within a strong community who aren't taking it so serious that you have to talk garbage towards each other. So again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys for supporting me, and I'll see you next time.